Many U.S. companies are, of course, hurting from the trade war fallout. Jay Foreman is the CEO of the toy company Basic Fun. 90% of his company's products are manufactured in China. He joins me live with his take on these talks. And Jay, I should say, this trade war is certainly not fun for business owners like yourself. Talk about the impact of this trade war on your toy company.
Well, the biggest impact, of course, is it's just uncertainty. It's so difficult to plan. You know, as we heard earlier, this is the 13th round of negotiations. Hopefully, as we get closer to Halloween, 13 will be a lucky number for us all. But the uncertainty of it's on, it's off, it's on, it's off is really difficult to plan your budgets. I'm here in Hong Kong right now, meeting with many of my customers, planning next year's Christmas, and we don't know what the price of the toys will be yet. So it's really a challenge with all the back and forth. So we're hoping that maybe they can do what they're calling the skinny deal. Maybe we can get the skinny deal this week, which is a half measure, which will be a sign of good faith and will help us move us a little bit closer to what we hope will be a permanent deal next year. I think maybe we'll get a little bit lucky.
So Jay, what about prices on your toys right now? Have you had to spike any of it?
Not right now. You know, we were part of the reprieve, which moved tariffs that were supposed to hit in September to December. And obviously, one of the things that I think the administration was mindful of is, you know, the president not being the Grinch who stole Christmas and raising prices on toys going into the Christmas season. But of course, we think many times 12 months in advance. So this Christmas, at least on toys, everybody's getting a break. But now we're planning already for Christmas 2020, and there's a lot of uncertainty in the air.
Hey, Jay, what is your message to the President of the United States, who has repeatedly said China is bearing the brunt of these tariffs?
Well, the way I would look at it is that, you know, if you're what I would consider almost China and America sort of conjoined twins, if one of you cuts off a hand and the other one cuts off a foot, you know, it might be easier to walk around with 2 feet and only one hand, but you're still hurting. So I think it's just a degree of pain. And I think one thing that the American president, my president, doesn't necessarily understand is that China plays the long game. And China has a lot of patience, and they think in decades and generations, not in months, weeks, or years, or news cycles. So my message to the president is, you know, really start moving in the right direction. This whole global economy is on the verge of a recession after 10 very strong years. And I don't think that anybody needs to be pouring gasoline on some very dry tinder right now.
And you talked about uncertainty being such a huge factor in this trade war for your company. Do you have the option of moving your operations to another country out of China?
Not really. You know, this is my 30th year of traveling to China, working with factories and working in my industry, the toy industry. And over that 30-year period, China has built a really amazing production platform that's unmatched in places like India or Vietnam or Thailand. And we're also making toys for children. So the standards of our product compared to what you may find in a garment or a piece of home goods or flatware is a very high standard. Nobody wants to see a toy given to a 2-year-old or 3-year-old child that's not made in a first-class operation. And China's factories are first-class operations. You wouldn't be able to match the quality and the craftsmanship that you can get here in places like Thailand or India or Vietnam right now. And on top of that, you know, places like Thailand and Vietnam have a limited labor pool, where China has a much larger labor pool. So we may think about moving some production to another market, but pretty soon that market will be tapped out of labor. Or once our president maybe makes a deal with the premier of China, who's to say that the next target doesn't go on Vietnam or India? So we've worked very hard to build a production base on China. We'd like to keep going just the way things are. And the fact is that it's not really possible to move this production back to the United States because A, we don't have a production base for the type of products we make, and our unemployment we're at maximum employment in the United States at 3.5%. We can't find workers. So really we need things to be status quo.
Well, Jay, we wish you the best of luck in this trade war. Jay Foreman, thank you so much.